Hello, this is Dr. Stephanie Buehler. I am a licensed psychologist and AASECT certified sex therapist and sex therapy supervisor. And this presentation is a short presentation. It's 5 steps to AASECT sex therapy certification. The reason I've made this presentation is that so many people contact me asking about different parts of the AASECT certification process. It can be maddening to look online on the AASECT site and see the whole list of things that you need to do. So I've broken it down and I'll go step by step and give you a way to ask questions if you have them. So what is AASECT? AASECT is the American Association of Sexuality Educators, Counselors, and Therapists. It is the oldest and largest certifying body for sexology professionals, and is well recognized for supplying information to the public about sexuality and maintains a directory of certified individuals. And people definitely do go to the AASECT website, click on the little map, and find educators, counselors, and therapists who are AASECT certified. And often they have seen an article like in WebMD or on HuffPo or something like that, interviewing a sex therapist, and the sex therapist, whomever they might be, mentions that the public can go to AASECT to find people. So AASECT really, we are out there. Might not be super duper well known because, you know, sex is still shrouded with mystery and shame, but AASECT is definitely a go-to site for people looking for sex therapists. Now, sex therapy, you know, you might be curious, maybe you're just starting to explore, so what is sex therapy about? It addresses people's thoughts, feelings, and attitudes about sexuality, helps people better understand their gender and orientation, whatever that might be, helps couples to solve sexual problems like mismatched sexual desire, helps to optimize sexual function and pleasure, and normalizes consensual, non-harmful, but perhaps unique behaviors. So there are 5 steps to sex therapy certification, and quickly, first, you must be an AASECT member and sign the AASECT Code of Ethics. Second, you have to have a graduate degree and be licensed as a psychotherapist. Third, you fulfill the educational requirements for certification. Fourth, fulfill the clinical case hours and supervision requirement. And 5, attend a SARS workshop. So I'm going to talk about that, all of these in a bit more detail. So you do need to be a member of AASECT in order to become certified. You also need to be a member of AASECT to start your supervision process. And you must obey and abide by the AASECT Code of Ethics, which you can find online and read. You do need to have, if you're going to be a sex therapist, you must be a licensed mental health professional. So that could be a psychiatrist, a nurse practitioner in psychiatry. It could be a psychologist, clinical social worker, marriage and family therapist, LCSW, what am I forgetting? LPC, licensed professional counselor. And you do have to have that degree plus 2 years of post-degree clinical experience if you're a master's level, and 1 year of post-degree clinical experience if you are getting a doctorate. And so these do have to be degrees that lead to allowing you to sit for the licensing exam in your state. You can be a graduate student while you're acquiring education and supervision, but you cannot apply for certification until you are fully licensed. In other words, you can do absolutely everything while you're in grad school and while you're getting your hours towards licensure, and you can count sex therapy hours that you're doing in your internship experience towards sex therapy certification, but you cannot apply until you are completely licensed. Now, the education part that's the one I think people get kind of hung up on because there seem to be so many requirements. But basically, you have two sections. You have to do 90 hours in the core knowledge areas, and you must do 60 hours in sex therapy training. AASECT prefers that you get those hours from a university-based program or from an AASECT institutional provider like the Buehler Institute. So I am the director of the Buehler Institute, and all of the programs are parked on a site called learnsextherapy.com. And there you can get more information, and I'll talk about the programs toward the end of this slide deck. And you do have to note, I think, that AASECT approval does not necessarily mean that you are getting CE hours that are approved by APA, the Board of Behavioral Science, the NBCC, NASW, or any other organization. Only the conference hours from AASECT are approved by other organizations. Otherwise, you may have trouble if you turn in AASECT hours that are just AASECT hours. You've turned those in for getting license renewal. So do think about that. And the Buehler Institute has gone to the trouble of getting not just AASECT approval, but also APA and NBCC approval, and probably NASW approval next year. So the core knowledge areas are really varied. You need to have at least 3 hours of instruction in each area. 90 hours of instruction in those core knowledge areas. 75 of those 90 hours can be acquired online. They can be university courses, AASECT approved continuing education hours, or a combination. And the thing is, if you say you go to an APA conference and you take a 2-hour presentation in some area of sexuality, only 1 hour of that would count towards the AASECT requirements. Now, AASECT really wants you to get AASECT approved education, but you can go outside of AASECT. It's just that the hours will only count 50%. And do keep your proof of attendance and your course syllabi, because you will have to turn that in. The sex therapy training, it's 60 hours of training. 30 hours of that can be through online instruction. And all of these must be through a university program or an AASECT institutional provider like the Buehler Institute. And the sex therapy training is about the diagnosis and treatment of psychosexual disorders, what techniques and interventions may be used in sex therapy, different theoretical approaches. So it's good to have more than one theoretical approach in your pocket. And certainly in our training program, we talk about EFT, we talk about Boehnian or individuation theory, solution-focused sex therapy, and others, medical family therapy and sex therapy, for example. You need to have an understanding of the medical interventions that are used to treat sexual problems, how to collaborate with other professionals like gynecologists and urologists, and we also talk about the ethics of sex therapy. Moving on to step 4 and talking about supervision and clinical hours, you need to have 300 hours of supervised casework, and all of those hours must be done while you are under contract with an AASECT approved supervisor or a supervisor in training. Anything done prior to your contract starting does not count. So you must have a contract in place. You must be a member of AASECT, and you must take at least 18 months. You can take longer, but you can't go less than 18 months. You have 50 hours of supervision. 25 hours of that may be done in a group setting. They don't have to be done. You can do all of your 50 hours individually with one supervisor. However, I do recommend that you do have more than one supervisor so that you can get different perspectives. And you do have to have a primary supervisor. And that primary supervisor doesn't really tell you what to do, but they give you guidance and maybe help you find different supervisors. So, this is the person that is going to look over your application when you turn it in. So that's the supervision piece. The fifth step is to get a SAR under your belt. SAR stands for Sexual Attitude Reassessment. The SAR is an experiential workshop that helps attendees examine their own attitudes, beliefs, and ideas about human sexuality in all its expression. There is exposure to sexual behaviors of all kinds through the use of sexually explicit material, or SEM. You are not required to watch SEM, but you must participate in discussion. So you can leave the room if you are watching something and it's triggering, but you need to come back and participate in the discussion about the SEM. The SAR is not designed to change anyone in any way, although change may, of course, occur. So now I'm going to talk about the programs that we have at learnsextherapy.com. The core knowledge program is could be considered like a starter program, if you will. The core knowledge program is completely online. It fulfills 75 of the 90 hours required in the core knowledge areas. And that is the maximum you can do online. It is AASECT, APA, California BRN, and NBCC approved. Where do you get the other 15 hours? That will be up to you. You will have to figure out. You can get them from AASECT conference, from Quad-S conference, from STAR conference, but you will have to figure that out. But that's one option, is to take core knowledge areas with us. You would also have to figure out where you're going to get the sex therapy training. So I'll talk about the sex therapy, our blended program, which gives you all 150 hours, and our blended program extension in just a moment. Advantages of the programs at learnsextherapy.com. Our tagline is turned on 24/7. You can log into the online portion any time of day or night. I do have a background, not only am I a psychologist, but I do have a background as an educator and also worked for an educational publishing company. So I've done my best to make the online portion interesting. So there are lectures from me, but also website visits, YouTube videos and documentaries, and journal articles. And it's designed so that you can log in and learn something even if you only have an hour. And you can learn on the go. I don't think this learning management system works so well on your phone. You can try it, but a tablet or laptop are certainly better. Now we do have another program. It's our premier program, a blended learning program. Blended program means that part is online and part is through live learning. This blended program fulfills 75 of the 90 hours of human sexuality requirements online. That leaves 15 hours covered in 2 live weekends. And it also fulfills 30 of the 60 hours of sex therapy training online. And that leaves 30 hours covered in 2 live weekends. So again, it includes the 75-hour core knowledge program, plus the additional 30 hours online in sex therapy. So you get 105 hours of online learning. You are also going to earn 45 hours that need to be done live, so 15 hours in human sexuality, 30 hours in sex therapy training over 2 weekends. Each 3-day weekend provides 22.5 hours of live instruction, 7.5 hours of human sexuality, and 15 hours of sex therapy training. And you do have a choice of 2 dates for each weekend. So we've been able to offer 4 dates each year. If we get a lot more people, we'll have more dates. We're also considering expanding to other locations. Currently, those weekends are held in beautiful, and I do mean beautiful, Newport Beach, California, which is in Orange County, which is right in between Los Angeles and San Diego. And we do have our own sweet little airport, which is called John Wayne Airport, but more people are calling it Santa Ana Airport. And so there is another option, another way available, a 2-part option. You could take the core knowledge program first, take up to 12 months to pay. Once you have completed the core knowledge program, you can sign up for the blended program extension. That gives you the additional 45 hours online and 45 hours live, and you can take another 12 months to pay for that. So you could take 24 months to do the whole 150 hours and make payments over those 24 months. And that's fine with me and fine with AASECT. So a recap of the 5 steps: you have to be AASECT member, sign the AASECT Code of Ethics, you have to have a graduate degree and be licensed as a psychotherapist, you must fulfill all 150 hours of the educational requirements for certification, you have to fulfill the 300 clinical case hours and the 50-hour supervision requirement over no less than 18 months, and attend a SAR workshop. There's always a SAR workshop before the conference, and you can check the AASECT website and also sign up. If you are a member, get signed up for the AASECT listserv to learn when other AASECT SAR approved or other AASECT approved SAR workshops are being offered. And I want to thank you for listening. Please visit us at www.learnsextherapy.com or email questions to us at info@learnsextherapy.com. Thank you again.